Picture this. You walk into a room, and without saying a single word, everyone feels your presence. You don't chase attention. Attention chases you. You don't beg for respect. Respect flows to you naturally. But here's what's wild. The secret isn't in what you do. It's in what you don't do. What if I told you that your biggest weakness isn't your flaws, it's your availability? That the reason people walk all over you isn't because you're not good enough. It's because you're too available. Today, everything changes. Because I'm about to show you why the most powerful people in the world have mastered one skill above all others. The art of being unreachable. The addiction to your reactions. Let me ask you something personal. When was the last time someone tested you, pushed your buttons, said something that made your blood boil, and you just didn't react? Can't remember. That's exactly the problem. You see, people around you have become addicted to something. They're addicted to your reactions. Every time you explode, every time you defend yourself, every time you chase after their approval, you're giving them a hit of pure control. Carl Jung knew this. He said, "Everything that irritates us about others can lead us to a better understanding of ourselves." But here's the twist nobody talks about. When you become impossible to irritate, when you become unreachable, watch how quickly people reveal their true intentions. Because here's what's really happening. You think you're being kind by always being available. You think you're being a good friend, a good partner, a good person by always responding, always explaining, always trying to fix everything. But you're not being good, you're being controlled. And the scariest part? You don't even realize it's happening. The prison of availability. Here's a truth that's going to sting. Your availability isn't making you loved, it's making you forgettable. Think about it. What do you value more? Something that's always there, or something rare? Something you can have anytime, or something you have to earn? You've been programmed since childhood to believe that your worth comes from how useful you are to others. Be helpful, be available, always say yes, never disappoint anyone. But here's what nobody told you. This turns you into an emotional vending machine. People know exactly which buttons to press to get what they want from you. They text you at 2 a.m. because they know you'll respond. They dump their problems on you because they know you'll listen. They treat you like their personal therapist, their emotional punching bag, their convenience store of validation. And what do you get in return? Exhaustion, resentment, the sinking feeling that you're giving everything and getting nothing back. But the cruelest part? The more available you are, the less people respect you. Because what's always there becomes invisible. What's too easy to get becomes worthless. So tell me, who in your life only calls when they need something? Who takes hours to respond to your messages but expects you to reply instantly to theirs? Who gets angry when you're not immediately available? Those people don't love you. They love what you provide, the energy drain. Carl Jung understood something most people never realize. Your mind isn't just a thinking machine, it's an energy system. And every reaction, every emotional response, every time you engage with drama, you're spending energy you can't get back. Every time you argue with someone who doesn't respect you, energy gone. Every time you try to convince someone who's already made up their mind, energy gone. Every time you lose sleep over what someone else thinks of you, energy gone. And here's the kicker. Manipulative people can sense this. They can smell emotional exhaustion from a mile away, and they feed on it. You know that person who always has a crisis right when you're doing well? That friend who brings drama into every conversation? That family member who pushes your buttons and then acts shocked when you react? They're not doing this by accident. They're doing it because your reactions fuel them. Your emotional chaos makes them feel in control. But what happens when you stop feeding them? What happens when you become energetically unavailable? When you stop reacting to their provocations? The whole game falls apart. And that's when things get really interesting. The power of strategic silence. There's a weapon so powerful that most people are afraid to use it. It doesn't require strength. It doesn't require skill. It requires something much rarer: self-control. That weapon is silence. Not the silence of weakness, the silence of absolute power. The silence that says, "I don't need to explain myself to you." The silence that makes people uncomfortable because they can't figure you out anymore. Have you ever noticed how some people panic when you don't respond immediately? How they send multiple messages, trying to get a reaction? How they accuse you of being different or cold when you simply stop engaging with their drama? That panic isn't about missing you. It's about losing control over you. See, while you're talking, you're still in their game. You're still playing by their rules. But the moment you go silent, truly silent, you change the entire dynamic. You force them to deal with their own thoughts, their own insecurities, their own internal chaos. And most people can't handle that. Jung said that individuation, becoming who you really are, requires periods of solitude. Not lonely solitude, but powerful solitude. The kind where you're so comfortable with yourself that you don't need constant validation from others. When was the last time you sat in complete silence, without feeling the urge to check your phone, send a message, or fill the void with noise? The liberation process. Now comes the hard part, and I need you to listen carefully, because this is where most people give up. When you start becoming unavailable, when you start protecting your energy, when you start choosing silence over reactions, people are going to push back hard. They'll call you selfish. They'll say you've changed. They'll accuse you of being cold, distant, arrogant. Some will even try to guilt you back into your old patterns. You used to be so understanding. You never used to be like this. What happened to you? Here's what really happened. You stopped being convenient for them. You stopped being predictable. You stopped being controllable. And that terrifies people who are using your availability against you. But here's what you need to understand. Every person who gets angry at your boundaries is someone who was benefiting from you having none. Every person who calls you selfish for protecting your peace is someone who was selfishly taking it from you. The right people, the people who actually value you, won't be threatened by your growth. They'll respect it. They might even be inspired by it. Yes, you'll lose people, but you'll find yourself. Yes, you'll be misunderstood, but you'll finally be free. The transformation. Something beautiful happens when you stop being available to everyone. The noise dies down. The chaos settles. And in that quiet space, you remember who you are beneath all the roles you've been playing. You remember what your own voice sounds like without the constant chatter of other people's opinions. You remember what peace feels like without the drama. You remember what it's like to make decisions based on what you want, not what others expect. This is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming whole, not half of yourself trying to please everyone, but your complete, authentic self standing in your own power. And here's the beautiful irony. When you stop chasing people, they start chasing you. When you stop being available to everyone, you become valuable to the right people. When you stop explaining yourself, you start being respected. Because scarcity creates value. And when you make yourself scarce, not out of game playing, but out of self-respect, everything changes. So here's my question for you. Are you ready to be misunderstood by people who never really understood you anyway? Are you ready to be called selfish by people who are selfishly using you? Are you ready to lose fake connections to make room for real ones? If your answer is yes, then your transformation starts right now. Not tomorrow, not next week. Right now. The next time someone tries to push your buttons, don't react. The next time someone demands an immediate response, take your time. The next time someone tries to guilt you into availability, choose yourself instead. I want you to write in the comments, I choose my peace. Let me see how many of you are ready to stop being controlled by other people's emotions and start being the master of your own energy. Because here's the truth, they don't want you to know. Your unavailability is your superpower. And it's time you started using it. The next video is going to show you exactly how to maintain this power without losing yourself in the process. Don't miss it. Your future self is counting on it.